People have died in the storm overnight. This is a look at Jacksonville Beach. You can see the rain and the wind is still blowing hard out there. That's on Florida's east coast. The daylight is also giving us a better look at widespread damage across the west coast of Florida and the interior. Flooding and power outages are making things very difficult right now, so we have team coverage ahead as Florida takes stock of what recovery will now look like. First, we want to get you out the door with our forecast here at home. And Lisa, another sunny, warm day ahead. Yeah, beautiful across the plains right now. In the mountains, you're going to find a better chance for a few scattered storms and showers. You can see that here right at and just south of I-70 right now. From Carbondale up and through Glenwood Springs, Gypsum, we've seen some more cloud cover out west. Here, we'll see a few building clouds. Very slight chance that we would see any of those storms roll east today. So it is going to be overall a pretty warm and dry day for us. We're in the 50s and 60s right now. We'll get to low 70s by 10 o'clock and then near 80 degrees by lunchtime. Highs are going to be right around 80 to about 85 here in Denver, more 60s and 70s again for the mountains. Now, when it comes to that chance for storms here in town, a better shot at seeing some wet conditions tomorrow afternoon. We'll take a closer look at that, what it looks like on our Front Range Futurecast in just a few minutes.
And I want to give you an update on the RTD system right now as we have an RTD alert, and it's been like this all morning long with a power outage out there affecting the W line, the west line that goes to and from Golden. The bus shuttles are now in place because they said they've had a power outage all morning long. It was on a 30-minute delay. Now they have the shuttle buses in place. You could also use the 16 bus along West Colfax as an alternate. Still looking at some delays. Take a look from the camera at Sheridan and I-76. You can see that eastbound crash still blocking up the left lane, so heavy from Wadsworth. You could try to use I-70, but that's really heavy, and in the area, as you see on the map, that southbound side of Federal is just jam-packed from I-76 down to I-70, so that's going to be a bad drive. So you could try Pecos as one of the better options right now to use that as an alternate, because you look at your I-76 drive with that crash. We also have a new crash just called out on I-225 on the northbound side right near Parker Road, so I'm just starting to see a little bit of traffic backing up there. It's been heavy anyway across parts of that east side here this morning.
Well, back to Tropical Storm Ian this morning. It was downgraded, by the way, to a tropical storm overnight, but it was a near direct hit on Fort Myers as a Category 4 hurricane yesterday. This is some of our first aerial footage of the damage there. You can see several homes are torn apart, and more alarming video that we're seeing this morning. Water was about 10 feet deep in places, high enough to cover some vehicles. The wind tore down trees, street signs, pool buildings, you name it. Remember, these were 150-mile-an-hour winds when it made landfall.
Yeah, for every story of tragedy almost, though, we are also hearing amazing stories of heroism and hope. People coming together, using whatever vessels they could to help search for people and rescue each other. We've seen people on jet skis, in boats, even reporters who are on scene going out to rescue people.
Right.
Here's the latest from ABC's Rob Marciano.
Catastrophic.
Are you guys okay?
And devastating. Hurricane Ian ravaging southwest Florida, leaving behind submerged neighborhoods and millions left in the dark.
2 people requesting rescue, water over their head.
The high water levels prompting desperate rescue calls in Lee County.
Caller reporting a sinking vehicle, unknown if he's breathing. Caller disconnected.
In Fort Myers Beach, Joe Orlandini and his family bunkering down on the 3rd floor of his home after water levels climbed the 2 floors below.
We weren't prepared for quite a storm of this magnitude. We were hoping it would dodge us. It didn't. It got worse.
Outside Orlandini's window, mountains of debris from decimated homes collecting in the flood.
There's a bed. I can see, there's doors.
This entire home ripped from its foundation. And in Naples, Kimberly Walker telling ABC News about the moments water began to seep into her home.
The water got to be a lot more and a lot more and a lot more. And it was just, it didn't matter what you did. The water started coming into my home, reaching about mid-thigh. I knew I had to get out.
Walker and her dog forced to swim across the street to a neighbor's home.
The center was probably about up to here and running really fast. You can wash your clothes, but I can't replace my dog or my life, so.
Well, utility workers from Excel are sending a large team to Florida to help restore power to more than 2 million people who are without electricity right now. This is also a video from Tropicana Field. This is in St. Petersburg, and that is a staging area where you can see lines of crews getting ready to help with the cleanup process and get the light's back on. 270 workers are on their way. That includes some from Colorado and New Mexico. Again, currently more than 2.5 million people are in the dark in Florida. But the danger from Ian is not over either. Flooding rain will be a problem on the East Coast now as the storm moves there and then heads north, and it could strengthen to a hurricane once again.
So let's bring in meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo. You've been tracking Ian and have a look at where it's headed from here.
Yeah, and right now we have winds at 65 miles per hour. Keep in mind that once we hit 74 mile per hour wind speeds, it's a category 1. So again, back to hurricane status. And as it makes its way back out into the water, into some of that warm water, this is why September is typically peak season for hurricanes, because the water is so warm right now. It could gain some strength, re-intensify as it loops back up toward the Carolinas. So here within the next couple of days, we're going to be seeing a lot of rain there on the coast, upwards of a foot in some spots. So a number of tropical storm warnings, hurricane warnings still continue to cover the coast. And we're likely looking at here rainfall total wise within the next couple of days, coastal Georgia, anywhere from 4 to potentially 12 inches locally. Some of those maximum totals will be pretty big. Central Carolinas, anywhere from 3 to 8 inches. Same thing there in through Virginia. So we'll be tracking this, keeping an eye on it. But if you guys have any plans to travel anywhere across the East Coast, I would urge you to really keep a close eye on those flights.
Thanks, Lisa. Colorado business leaders still have low expectations about the end of the year. The just released Business Confidence Index from CU's Leeds School of Business was the 4th lowest in its 20-year history. No surprise, inflation is the top concern among those who were surveyed for this. That's now followed by interest rates, then supply chain and worker shortages. The one bright spot in the report, Colorado's employment recovery, is still outperforming most other states.
We are less than 6 weeks out now from midterm elections, and in Pueblo last night, Democratic Governor Jared Polis and his Republican challenger Heidi Ganahl met face-to-face on the debate stage, and among the issues that they sparred over was public safety.
I will replace the parole board. I will stop our sanctuary status and allow ICE to do their job and law enforcement. I will appoint tough judges. I will declare a state of emergency on fentanyl and clean up this state.
Look, if I'm reelected your governor, we have a track record of getting things done. And I will come before you 4 years from now and we'll talk about how we move Colorado from 21st in violent crime to one of the 10 lowest states for violent crime.
Also, some dates to keep in mind for voters. October 17th is the first day ballots can be mailed, and Election Day is November 8th.
Well, for years as an education reporter, I covered the movement to get students more career skills while they're still in high school. Meanwhile, for years, we've also covered an affordable housing crisis. So I found out Boulder Valley Schools is doing something to address both of those needs. Plans are in motion to build a factory on the campus of Boulder Technical Education Center and eventually bring home construction indoors. It starts simple enough.
I really like the saw.
Learning the equipment.
This is called a lathe. I do not know how to spell it.
But with every new skill and project, students at Boulder Tech are gaining experience for a career. So why are you interested in construction?
I would like to be a general contractor out of high school.
These students are already earning OSHA certification and college credit while in high school.
It's a great situation that a lot of students are taking advantage of.
But future Boulder Tech students will be able to add something even bigger to their resumes, a whole house.
Our Boulder Tech students will be able to partner with Habitat for Humanity here in the city and in creating modular units that will be set on site in the north part of Boulder.
Modular construction is a growing industry. The city of Boulder sees the potential for it to address an affordable housing crisis.
Boulder's been experiencing this challenge for the past half century, basically.
The city bought the Ponderosa Mobile Home Park in North Boulder and hopes the modular homes students build can eventually replace aging mobile units. You'd never know these homes were built in a factory. And with modular construction, new units can be placed on a site in a matter of weeks rather than the years it can take to build 70 homes the traditional way.
One of the things that we hear all the time from the students is that they want the opportunity to give back. They want to see the impact of what they're doing and the positive impacts on the community.
Of course, they still have to build the factory. The hope is that will be done by 2024, giving future students real-world experience in a world where housing has become one of our most pressing needs. The district and the city are still finalizing an agreement to annex the site where the modular home factory will be built. There is a community meeting tonight for neighbors to learn more about that project.
Coming up, a former Colorado teacher arrested for sexual assault allegations in Missouri. We'll introduce you to the parents here who raised concerns about him before he left the state.
If I blocked him on one social media platform, he'd reach out on another. If I blocked him on those, then he would find or create fake profiles and reach out to me that way.